Ukraine's counteroffensive inches forward with the help of cluster bombs. New Euro Giant, Ukraine CNN. Ukrainian Marines have advanced for the second time in 2 weeks on the southeastern front lines towards the key fort city of Mariupol, with the recapture of the village of Eurojain appearing to have been partially aided by the Ukrainian use of controversial cluster munitions. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Biliar confirmed the village's liberation Wednesday morning as the CNN crew approached the outskirts with the 35 Marines. Heavy artillery fire prevented an entry into the village as Russian forces shelled the Ukrainian troops holding the area. Drone footage of the intense fight for the village has emerged in which dozens of Russian troops can be seen fleeing to the village's south. They are apparently shelled as they flee, at times by what seems to be cluster munitions. Two arms expert who reviewed the videos of the incident said. The expert did not want to be identified, discussing the sensitive issue. DKE, the call sign of the assault company commander, said of the Russian rout. Very many died, especially when they started to run. The videos shows the dozens of Russian troops running along an open road, seemingly forced to use the asphalt as the adjacent field, and the tree lines had been mined. Dickey said. The Russians also gathered in large numbers in houses, which was then hit by artillery. Lots of them died there, Dickey said, adding that mortars and tanks were used in the rout. He would not comment on the use of the cluster munitions. The drone's videos also showed the Ukrainian tank charging alone at Russian positions, firing and dragging behind it in the cable on which are attached mine-clearing explosive. The charges detonate when the tank turns away from the clashes, assuring the clear advance of the next unit through a minefield that has caused significant losses. That side is using whatever they want. The supply of cluster munitions to the Ukrainian military was preceded by great ethical debate inside the Biden administration. US officials have said, while brutally effective against infantry on open ground, the weapons scatter small droplet explosives that often fail to detonate and can be a residual hazard to civilians for decades to come. More than 100 countries have banned the use of cluster weapons by a treaty, though the Ukrainian, Russia, and the United States are not signatories to that international treaty. The US military says the models they are supplying Ukraine have the improved the dove rate, in which only 2.5% of them fail to detonate on dispersal, a claim that is viewed skeptically by critics. By comparison, Russia's cluster weapons, also said to be in use during their invasion of Ukraine, are claimed by Western officials to have a dove rate of 30%. The Ukrainian military has confirmed that the US weapons are in use on the front lines, but declines to offer details. CNN was unable to confirm the devices identified by experts as likely cluster munitions in the videos from Eurojane were US supplied weapons. Ukrainian is thought to have produced several similar devices domestically that could be in use on the front line. The capture of Eurojane marked the second advance in 2 weeks. Yet ethical issues surrounding the weapons left certain commanders like Dickey, whose unit has experienced heavy losses in the Assert South, perplexed. I don't understand it, he said. The side is using whatever they want. Our people are dying from all of this, and it is okay. But when the other side die, it is not. The recapture of Eurozone, the small village, represent progress for the grueling counteroffensive in which the gains have been measured in meters rather than miles. Ukrainian troops have faced steeper than expected resistance and have been slowed by heavily fortified Russian defensive lines, reinforced by vast network by trenches and tens of thousands of square miles of landmines. Earlier this week, Kiev rejected the recent criticism that its troops were not advancing fast enough, saying it was focused on destroying Russians' capabilities and disrupting its logistics. On the front lines, the 35 Marines have experienced losses in their push south that have left Dickey hostile to the armchair assessment of the counteroffensive's the slow progress from some Western officials and analysts. Dickey said the offensive's critics can always come to me as the guest and fight with me. Someone believes that we only fly over the minefield on the broom like a Harry Potter. It doesn't happen like that in a real fight. If you don't understand that, you can sit in your armchair and eat your popcorn.